Well, hello, and welcome to Lesson 5 on Listening and Learning. This is Unit 7, and this one is called Minerals. And you thought you knew something about rocks. Well, you're going to learn a lot today if you listen. First, we have to know some words. Let me briefly go over these 4. Characteristics. That's a noun. Characteristics. When I talk about the characteristics of something, I'm talking about the ways to describe and group things. Like I could say the characteristics of winter are that it's a very cold season and snow can fall during winter. That's two characteristics of winter. Okay? The next word is gemstones. That's also a noun. Gemstones are stones that are cut and polished to be used in jewelry. I'm sure you could think of one. Right, diamonds can be cut and polished. Those are gemstones, so are rubies, things like that. Next word is minerals. That's a noun. A mineral is a natural substance found in the earth. Minerals are the building blocks of rocks. So the difference between a rock and a mineral is a pure thing, and a rock is a mixture of minerals. How about that? And the next word is traces. Traces. If I talk about traces, there was a trace of snow out on the lawn. That means I could barely see it, but I know that it snowed. Or I could say there are traces of dust on my sunglasses, and I just have to wipe that trace of dust off. Okay? So once we got through that, now I can get closer to the reading. Now remember why did the Grand Canyon in Arizona provide a lot of clues about the Earth's formation and history? Yeah, because scientists can see and study many different layers of rock at the same time. You just look into the Grand Canyon and you can see the rock at the bottom. And that's much older than the rock at the top. So if you want to see all those things all at once, go to the Grand Canyon. All right. Now let's see. Whoops. So if you want to think about what a rock and a mineral is, think about a cookie, like chocolate chips, a chocolate chip cookie with nuts or something like that. You could see that it has chocolate in the cookie. You can see the chocolate chips and the nuts, right? Well, sometimes you can find minerals in nature, just like the chocolate chips in the cookie, that are all pure and by themselves. And sometimes you'll find a rock that's a mixture. It might have the minerals in it. And sometimes the minerals are big enough for you to see, like the chips in a chocolate chip cookie. So, anyway, this fellow is our geologist, Jerry the geologist, with his rock collection. And as a geologist, it is my job to study rocks. There are many, many different kinds of rocks out here in the world, and I've collected quite a few rocks during my time as a geologist. Yes, and that's a job I actually thought some of you might be interested in. Anyway, here's our next picture. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Here are some of the rocks and minerals from my collection. I've polished these in a special machine called a rock tumbler, which makes them shiny and really brings out the color in this pile alone. I can see amethyst, tiger's eye, rose quartz, turquoise, red jasper, agate, and onyx. Whoop, sorry, I get carried away sometimes. Yeah, look at all those things. I have a friend who does this. He lives out in New Mexico. He tumbles rocks. Whoa, look at that. That is a milky quartz. Minerals are the building blocks of rocks. All rocks contain minerals. Sometimes you can find pure minerals unmixed with other minerals, but most rocks contain several different minerals. There are over 3,000 different types of minerals, and scientists still discover new ones from time to time. Minerals come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and textures. We call these different characteristics to divide minerals into groups. Characteristics, by the way, are ways to describe and group things, right? Some of the mineral groups are quite common, whereas others are very unusual and even difficult to describe, and I will tell you about a few of the best-known minerals. For instance, this is a picture of the mineral quartz. Quartz is the most common mineral in the Earth's crust. Not the most common in the whole Earth, just the most common mineral in the Earth's crust. This picture shows a type of quartz called milky quartz. You could probably see why it's called milky quartz, right? Now, by the way, what is the crust of the Earth? That's right, it's that thin outer layer, right? Like the egg in a hard-boiled egg, or the shell in a hard-boiled egg. Anyway, this is different varieties, different kinds of quartz. Quartz comes in many varieties. There are clear quartz crystals on the top left. And some minerals form into perfect crystals like these, and some don't. It all depends on where and how they are formed inside the Earth. Crystals can come in all different sizes. Some are small as a pea, and some are the size of your arm or even larger. As for the color variations in different types of quartz, these are caused by the addition of very small amounts of various types of metals into the mineral. Color variations means color differences. For instance, the beautiful purple color of amethyst is caused by traces of iron and aluminum metal. Traces are very small amounts. You'll like the next picture. Yeah. Ruby and sapphire. Examples of rare gemstones are some varieties of corundum, a mineral composed mostly of aluminum and oxygen. A gemstone is a stone, by the way, that is cut and polished to be used in jewelry. Can you find the gemstones in this image? Yep, the ones that are cut and polished are the two on the bottom, the red one and the blue one, but you can see where they occur on the top two. Red corundum is known as ruby, and blue corundum is known as a sapphire. Rubies and sapphires are among the most beautiful mineral crystals on Earth. Yes, indeed. And the next one, well, look at that. Here is another beauty. This is called emerald. Emerald is a variety of the mineral beryl, which also comes in many different colors, including green, blue, yellow, and red. Deep green emerald is my favorite. Now, can you point to the gemstone on this slide? That's right, it's the beautiful green thing you can see that's been cut. It doesn't look like that in nature. Someone actually has to take a very, very sharp instrument and cut the stone so that it looks like that. All right, and the next picture you'll recognize what this is the first second you see it. Yep, see? And here is one of the most famous minerals. You know what these beauties are called? These are diamonds. A diamond is the hardest mineral in the whole world. A diamond is hard enough to cut through glass or scratch any other mineral. The diamond on the left is a raw diamond, fresh from the earth. The diamond on the right has been cut and polished. The sides of a cut diamond are called facets. So the cut diamond is the one that's all glittery on the right. But if you were looking out in nature for a diamond, that would be like the one you find on the left-hand side. If you find a diamond, you must bring it to me immediately, and I'll let you know. We wouldn't find diamonds around here. And the next picture. Come on. Well, you'd need special equipment and skills to cut and polish diamonds or other gemstones such as rubies and emeralds. People who cut diamonds look through powerful magnifying glasses as they do their work. This is so they can see all the little tiny facets or sides. Now, the next thing, you're not going to believe this, but yep. Can you guess what that is? Here is one mineral that some of us use every day. Have you ever heard of salt? Salt, or sodium chloride, is a common mineral that is found in the oceans and in the earth. Sodium chloride is called table salt when we use it in food, and rock salt when we use it to make roads safer during winter storms. Some people put table salt on food to make it taste better. In fact, salt is a very important nutrient for people as well as other animals. Your body needs salt, not too much, but just enough. Too much salt is bad for you. If you eat too much salt, your body will tell you so because you will feel thirsty. Salt appears in many forms in nature. Rock salt can be found in the form of halite crystals, like the rectangular-shaped crystal pictured on the left in this picture. You can't see salt in water because it dissolves, but you'll know it's there if you ever taste ocean water. When salt mixes with water, the salt dissolves in the water or mixes with the water so that no more solid pieces are visible, and that forms salt water. Yeah, let's see, our next picture. Whee! Well, why do all these different minerals look the way they do? Each has its own story, and it gets pretty complicated, but you can bet that there were three basic things, and they have three basic things in common. You know what I'm thinking of? Yep. Why did they look though? They have their own story. Heat, pressure, and time. These three factors all play a role in the formation of every mineral. Heat, pressure, and time. There, you can see that's what he drew on his board. And the last picture, here he's showing off his beautiful collection. An important thing to remember about the rocks you find in nature is that you should leave them there so that other people can also enjoy them. If every person took even one rock, there soon wouldn't be very many rocks left. Without rocks, environments or natural surroundings change dramatically. If the environment changes, the plants and animals that live there might have a hard time finding food and shelter. Now I've told you a bit about some of my favorite minerals. Take a look at the ground the next time you go outside, and you might actually see something interesting. Well, I'm going to go back up and go through a couple of those pictures. Ooh, that blue sapphire, I think that's my favorite right there. Anyway, why did Jerry the geologist have so many rocks? Well, remember, he's a geologist, and a geologist studies rocks. And here's a question for you. What are minerals? What are minerals? Minerals are natural substances found in the earth. They are the building blocks of rocks. They are what rocks are made of. Okay? And what is a gemstone? A gemstone is a stone that is cut and polished, and it's used in jewelry. Right. All right. Where might you find the mineral salt? That's right. I bet you have it on your kitchen table, or somewhere in the kitchen you've got that mineral, and you can see that it's a pure mineral. Now, in that read aloud, you heard Jerry say, minerals come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and textures. We use these different characteristics to divide minerals into groups. That's what he said. Say the word characteristics with me, okay? 1, 2, 3. Characteristics. Characteristics are ways to describe and group things. Some characteristics of diamonds are that they are colorless and that they can scratch other minerals. Some characteristics of Jerry the geologist are that he has black hair and a mustache and loves to study rocks. What are some characteristics of your bedroom? Remember that characteristics can include the color, the size, and the shape of your room. So what's that word we've been talking about? Characteristics. Good. All right. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on minerals and that you can tell the difference between a mineral and a rock. And if you can't, just give a listen one more time. You'll find out. Okay, thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.